Hello, Captain Ethan Whitehall, Company D, 2nd US Sharpshooters. Today's video is actually a subscriber comment on the gaiters or leggings worn by US Sharpshooters. What I have here in front of me is my personal pair of leggings or gaiters that I first started reenacting with almost actually 10 years ago, come this reenacting season. So the history behind the gaiters is when Hiram Berdan initially had the proposition to raise a regiment or two of sharpshooters, was them to be styled in the European fashion with green uniforms, the Prussian knapsack, and knee-high leather gaiters. These were made out of a pig or goat skin. Some records vary. These are just made out of your regular cattle hide leather. These are a little dirty, but you can tell that they are a dark brown, kind of a milk chocolate, I guess is the best way to describe it. The reason for the gaiters, though, was to keep the lower end of the trousers from fraying, getting ripped, going through bramble bushes, thorns, everything like that. Along with, on the East Coast, there is quite a few venomous snakes, the most common one being the coppermouth. And the teeth are so fine on those snakes that it'd be very hard to punch through the leather of these leggings to injure the soldier wearing them, or in this case, the sharpshooter wearing them. Most reproductions these days aren't exactly correct, being that these have a large number of buckles up the side, and they vary in length between 12 inches to almost 18 inches. The originals were a 16-inch tall legging that fell ended just below the kneecap. They are contoured to the front with a little bit of a spur, more or less, to call that, with a strap going underneath to a buckle. This just secures the legging to the bottom of the boot, for your brogan, essentially. Most buckles, though, or the buckles on the originals would have only been between 5 to 6 buckles going up the side, with a 16-inch tall legging with the 6th or 7th, just depending how many buckles were up the side, of going underneath the bottom strap. Bottom strap definitely gets a lot of wear and tear. These have been replaced on mine multiple times just because they are getting constantly drug against rocks, thorn bushes, mud. They do wear out very quickly on the bottom straps. The other thing too with the buckles is these ones aren't exactly correct. Like I said, this is my original pair. This is before I really did a lot of research into the sharpshooters. However, these are still a great pair, but the buckles would have had a center bar with the strap passing through, pinning through, and then going through the other portion of it. However, these buckles do just fine. They hold up quite nicely with the leggings. The nickname for these, written by a sharpshooter in a letter home, was he called them the 7-day or 3-day leggings. 1 day to put them on, 1 day to wear them, 1 day to take them off. Obviously, it doesn't really take a full day to put them on, especially if you have the proper amount, the 5 to 6 buckles along the side. These get put together very quickly, and they do look very nice on the sharpshooter's uniform. However, these were thrown away quite early in the war by the sharpshooters, mainly because it was just extra weight. It didn't really do all that much for the sharpshooters wearing them. As I said, it does look very good. Us in the sharpshooters, or at least in Company D, we like to call it the sexy period of the sharpshooters. The all-green uniforms, the leggings, the Prussian-style knapsack. They did have a very, very good look to them. However, word drags on. These aren't readily available, if at all. I believe these were only issued twice, once in 1861 with the original muster, and then again in 1863 when they were re-equipped with old gear. But again, they were quickly shed by the veteran sharpshooters. Because it was excess weight, it definitely keeps the legs very warm, especially in the summer months. And again, it really didn't do all that much. There's no records of sharpshooters being killed on the march by venomous snakes, and trousers were readily switched out, either the blue or the sharpshooter green trousers. But again, it was just that initial look of the sharpshooters that really drew the eye for most people. In just a second, I'll put one of these on and definitely give a look on how these would look. Forgive the blue my blue jeans. However, all my trousers and everything are locked away in storage at the moment. So as can be seen by, even though these are blue jeans and modern work boots, this is pretty much how these would have been worn. Buckles to the outside. However, I have seen sharpshooters wear these buckles to the inside, upside down, just because sometimes these can be a little tricky to put on, especially if you're being called into action very quickly or called on to the march. You'll see a lot of sharpshooters who just leave these loose ends kind of just hanging out, kind of flopping around. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I do like to tuck these in. With some original gaiters or leggings, there are small loops sewn onto here to allow the end of the straps to be tied in. I'll get a lower view. So here is the very bottom of the excuse me, of the leggings with the bottom strap and the two lower ones. And as you can tell, these are definitely in a lot rougher shape than the ones higher up, just because these are the ones that get trudged through the mud, the rocks, everything a lot more. I actually have worn these out hiking, out hunting quite a few times, just because I know I'm going through sagebrush, especially where I live out here in eastern Washington, along with some of the rocky areas, kind of in our scablands and all that, but also even up north where there's just a lot more thickets of bushes, everything like that. They're, again, really nice. However, there's really nowhere producing a cheap version. Most of these are upwards of the $100 to $170 range, which is rather unfortunate just because these are very nice to have, especially for an early war sharpshooter impression. And most of those reproductions unfortunately have a lot of these buckles on them. This one has 8, so it's not too terribly bad, but there are some that have as many as 15 buckles, which is just a little ridiculous, and you could probably actually have those as a 3-day legging. However, I do plan in the future on actually reproducing these. I just need to find the proper buckles, everything like that, which hopefully one day I can start filling that niche within the sharpshooter impression kind of niche of being able to reproduce these and sell these. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you'd like more videos on the how-tos with First Sergeant Kep in the workshop, the little gear that he likes to put together, the sharpshooter history, uniform, history of the sharpshooters, and the product reviews that we have by American Civil War kits and a few others that are soon to come, please subscribe. And if any of our subscribers have any videos that they would like us to do with content-wise, please leave a suggestion in the comments below. Anyways, this is Captain Youthwell, Company D, 2nd US Sharpshooters. Thank you very much for watching.